Hello, World of Tank Blizzards, that's Littlefinger, doing another full tank review today on the T95E2, which you can see here in the garage. This is an American Tier 8 medium tank. Yes, this is premium tank, currently for sale for 5,000 gold. Does not come with any equipment slots unlocked. And quite honestly, you know, I'm trying to get all of these reviews for the Black Friday sale events out there as soon as possible so that you can make an informed decision on these tanks. So I'd really appreciate it if you help me out and hit that subscribe button, and we'll get into the review on this tank. And what can I say? It's classic American tank. You know, it's got good numbers on just about all of the categories, yet nothing really stands out. But then again, nothing is a real weakness on this tank. You've got 9 degrees of gun depression. You've got a nice rounded turret there. Does not have the armor of the 59 patent. So that's a little bit of the downside. You know, if you had the choice of the two, I'd definitely go with the 59 patent. Decent mobility at 48 kilometers per hour. Does have good aim time, about 1.8 seconds. And, you know, it's just a decent all-around tank. But again, you know, it's not a tank that I say stands out in any way. Or, you know, if you're debating should you get it, I mean, it's, you know, it's just average, guys. That's all I can say about it. So before we leave this page, let me just show you how I have it set up. So I'm going with the calibrated shells. Haven't noticed too much of an issue with pen at the top tier, so we might switch that over to supercharge and get a little bit more damage per minute there. 2435, what that would take it to. I'm running defense system, improved optics, enhanced gun lane drive, improved assembly. Like I said, the armor's not that great, so we'll just go with the extra hit points. We've got engine accelerator and vertical stabilizer. Alright guys, here's blitzstars.com, and we're comparing the T95E2. I pulled the 59 patent next to it because you'll see that there is a lot of similarities. But across the board at 2293 damage per minute, you know, we're high on this list. Only the M4A1 is a little bit higher. We've got decent pen, obviously not the top. Decent alpha, obviously not the top. So, like I said, you're going to find this across the board. 914 shell velocity, aim time 1.8. That's the one stat there that we are the tops here. And our dispersion at 0.308 is good as well. Gun depression 9 degrees. 59 patent there has 10 degrees. Our speed is okay in this tank. Again, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't move me in any way that I think, oh wow, this is just a great tank to drive. It's just pedestrian, really. 48 kilometers per hour. Moving on down there to credit coefficient, you can see at 170. It's nice for this premium tank. And the turret armor, 95 on the hull on the front and 127 on the turret. So, you know, I do find a lot of bounces on the front of the turret if you get it hull down. But outside of that, you know, you're not going to find too much difficulty as far as being penned. So let's jump into some gameplay, and I'll talk a little bit more about this tank. Alright guys, before I get into a full game here, I just want to show you hull down here on Faust. And you know, even though the armor's not great on paper, because it's so rounded, and as long as you're moving back and forth, you're going to get shots like this where you do bounce. Also that the front hull there is nicely sloped, so sometimes you can actually squeak out a bounce or two there as well. But here we go. We're going to jump into Mayan Ruins game as top tier supremacy. And, you know, this is one of those standard maps that I like to go to the middle on, just because you can get some good spotting in and you can identify where the enemy are headed, and, you know, if they're split or if they're all going heavy or whatever. So you can get an early indication of what's going on in the game. So we managed to get one shot in, but there's just too many of them, too much of a risk here to stop them in time for a cap stop. But again, you can see another fortunate bounce. And so there's at least 3 of them over here at C. And our team is also split. But we've managed to come in here and get B. And so now I can come in and be aggressive and support our heavies here and start, unloading a little bit more damage. So up behind the Lava and the WZ-111, we'll drop Adrenaline. First kill there. And now we're just cruising on in here and going to finish off the WZ as a team. So good map awareness there. Being able to close in and take care of those 2 tanks early on. So I'm going to circle around. They've obviously pushed through B. I'm not sure why they didn't cap it. But again, with our nice gun depression here, we're not going to have any problems with those guys a little bit lower. They're all pushing through this way, so we got to be careful. We're going to take our shot, just back up and reload. Now, looking at the mini-map, we see 2 tanks pushing around beside us. So just keeping an eye on that. I don't want to get flanked with my rear exposed. So I decide, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and push around here so that I am not the one there flanking, right? Now, take a little bit of a long route here to try to get in and help our VK. So he's taken out. But we've got the T69 finishing him off. The Dracula bounce, giving us our 3rd kill and 2,200 in damage there. So 4 on 3 now. Three on 3, but we've got 1 tank there down to 1 hit. He's taken out by the Dracula, and again, you can see with this tank, it's just got a nice rate of fire. Not having any real issues with pen. Got a couple nice good bounces if we can angle our tank just right. It's a deceptive camo there. You gotta know, you gotta shoot that lower plate. And there was still half a tank to go when we capped out 3405 level 1, almost 100,000 in credits. So with that being said, all of these tier 8 premium tanks have such great credit coefficients. You have decent game, you're going to make some nice money with them. So now we're going to roll into our next game on Nube as bottom tier, and this is also a supremacy game. And you'll find, the results of supremacy are mainly dictated by teams that stick and work together. Obviously, that's easier said than done these days. But here we go. We're all pushing into C. Look at this. This is a mass of tanks. A lot of firepower. And as we cap C, you notice that cap A is going, meaning that at least 1, if not more, of their team has gone all the way to A, and B's right around the corner here. And look, here's 2 tanks. So the 2 heavies have come to B. They have no support. Just checking the bridge there. And what I want you, look at the standard B as he comes around. What I want you to notice is this focus fire on this VK. Standard B comes around, and that STI hasn't even been shot yet because focus firing on that VK. That is just great work. Getting rid of a gun as fast as possible. We've only got 2 shots in, and 3 tanks here have been taken out. 2 tanks have been taken out already. So that is just great teamwork there. We cap B and we see C as being capped, so obviously they've pushed around, and now it's time to head on back and defend C. And the nice thing with this tank, you don't have to worry about being in hills. You've got 9 degrees of gun depression. You just have to aim better than that. We've dropped adrenaline because there's a lot of targets around here. My shot was milliseconds behind that kill shot. So, you know, we're still early in this game. We've only done 400 damage. They're up to 600. But you'll notice now that we've got ourselves into a good situation where we're getting a lot of shots in. And the game does not finish that bad as far as damage. You know, it's a fairly average game. We're going to finish it right at 2,000 in damage. So 4-on-3, it's still a close game. Whiff on that shot. Turret didn't turn around as fast. We ram him for a kill. And now it's 4-on-1. Now it's pretty much over, except for these poor last 2 greens that are each one shot. Their timing is just really not good. Although SU does get a big shot in there. And, you know, one of the nice things here, if you look at this Type 59, this is a tank. If you're looking at it from the front, typically you're going to have a hard time penning it. But because we have this gun depression, we can get down through that lower plate. Some other tanks can't do that. And we've got a nice big gun mantlet, making it even more difficult for him with less gun depression to get a shot into our hull. So he has to go through our turret and obviously bounce that last shot. So good comparison in play style there from those 2 tanks. All right, guys, last game, Himmelsdorf. We're bottom tier, regular encounter battle. And, you know, so I hope from those first few games there, you kind of get a feel for this tank. Again, it's not super fast. It just does everything well, but not excellent. I mean, I really don't know. If you've played very many American tanks, I think you understand what I'm trying to describe there. Team has pushed heavy. And, you know, so again, teams that stick together typically do a lot better. Teams that focus fire, they're pretty much going to win a lot more games than not. So really important here. Very easy for, I feel like, you know, tanks or teams when you get into a situation like this that you just keep chasing around. Leave your slow tanks behind. Really, if you wanted to be in town here playing the heavy side, then just stay here and wait for them to come to you. You can see we've pulled up this hill here. We are awfully exposed. And you only get one of those 3 shots to go on that IS-8. So gives you a little bit of an idea of distance shooting on tough targets. And this is when I see the standard B coming around. So I'm backing around to the rest of my team here, and I was hoping that I think it might have been the RHM would stay on this side of the ridgeline with me, but since he's not, you know, I'm going to back over this ridgeline and see if we can't get that standard B to come around the corner here. And there he is, just showing me a little bit of the wheel. So we try to take a shot there. Just enough to get a hit on. And I know he's pulled out and taken a couple shots. So with him being what I believe an autoloader, you know, we're gonna rush in here. Obviously he's got a much lower rate of fire once he's reloading each individual shell, or the first shell in each clip. So we're just going to get into a brawling situation with a tier 9 tank. T49 comes through and totally whiffs. But you can see there how well it brawls on a one-on-one with your you know, mediocre alpha and your decent reload your high pen there, or your high alpha of over 2200. So certainly a tank where you can get into a situation and brawl with those mediums, a little bit tier 9s and whatnot. Finish off the IS-8. Shot while moving all the way down the corridor there. And then it's just cleanup time on the last tank here. And again, you know, it really did not seem like a huge effort to put up over 2,000 damage in this game. But I will say, you know, I had some pretty lopsided games where, well, a couple games where I tried to spot early, and this tank just does not work well if you don't have a team supporting you for that. So right now, with about 20 games into this tank, I'm only averaging 1,600 damage per game. So that's right in line with that 200 per tier. And to me, you know, that's not quite good enough for me to say, yeah, this is a great tank. You can't miss this. You must buy it. So I'm just going to put this on, you know, on the average side. I don't think this is a must buy. But yet it is still fun. It's going to make you some good money. And if you just want to run through your 2X tanks, play all of your tier 8 premium tanks and start racking up some money, some credits, then I think this is a good way to do it. But with that being said, guys, I hope you're supporting the channel by hitting that subscribe button. Come join us on Discord. It's getting a lot more action lately. And as always, have fun out there. Stay safe, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.